Who would want to bring a kid into this? I mean, rent is eating half your paycheck before you've even had your morning coffee. Groceries cost what a mortgage used to. Daycare costs what college used to. College costs what a house used to. And your house costs whatever a damn hedge fund manager says that it costs now because the hedge fund bought the damn thing. There's no paid leave, no guaranteed maternity coverage, and depending on which week it is, your newborn might get flagged as a national security risk before it can even hold its own head up. So naturally, we turn to science to step in and explain the real reason that no one's having kids. You ready? It's your political views. Or maybe it's your iPhone. Either way, it's anything literally other than we are broke and overworked. So I'm going to start with the University of Vienna. Published in a peer-reviewed journal, The Scientific Reports, researchers were tracking fertility by political orientation between 1970 and 2022. And they found a real gap opening up, starting with people that had been born starting in the mid-40s. Conservatives, they held near or above replacement level numbers when it comes to birth rates. But people left of center dropped well below it. And the lead researcher, they said this tracks the spread of modern contraception, meaning when people, especially women, got actual control over whether and when to have kids, a lot of them chose fewer or having kids later or not having kids at all. That's what they found. That was immediately hijacked by a certain corner of the internet as proof that liberalism itself is an evolutionary dead end, which is not remotely what the study is saying. But reading past the abstract is a lot to ask of a guy whose profile picture was taken in the front seat of his Dodge Ram. And the second study I'd point to, and I promise this is a real one, from the National Bureau of Economic Research, they used the fact that AT&T had the exclusive iPhone contract from 2007 to 2011 to compare birth rates in AT&T heavy zip codes against Verizon heavy zip codes. And they found a statistical link between smartphone adoption and a drop in partnered sex and birth rates. Somewhere in Cambridge, an economist held up a 2009 phone bill like it was the Zapruder film and announced that he had found the reason that the species is ending. And look, even the tech press that covered this flagged the obvious hole. First of all, early adopters of smartphones skewed richer and more educated. And richer, more educated people have always had fewer kids. Congratulations, everyone. We reinvented a 100-year-old correlation and then slapped the Apple logo on it. And look, I gotta say, I could not afford a second kid. And I don't know about you guys. I mean, tell me in the comments if the economy has factored in to your family planning. I don't want to get too personal, but tell us in the comments. And look, the key thing that neither of these studies puts in the headline is that the United States is the only wealthy country on earth with zero federal paid parental leave. Zero. The law guarantees you 12 weeks unpaid only if your employer is even big enough to be covered. Childcare costs have gone through the roof. They're more than rent or mortgages in a majority of states. And this all seems to happen the same week that Donald Trump's own pals are floating sterilization requirements for foreign visitors and taking hard looks at banning pregnant travelers. Because like I've mentioned before, in their worldview, a woman is an incubator. And then they just happen to be a person as a second priority. And you cannot build a culture that treats motherhood as a woman's only real job, then refuse to fund a single week of leave for them to actually do that job. Then you gut Medicaid that covers the birth itself, and then you cite studies wondering why a generation of women who finally have the education and income to walk away from this bad deal are walking away from the bad deal. Look, it is not your politics that is making you childless. It's not your iPhone. It's that nobody in charge has made having a kid in this country remotely survivable. And the people most panicked about the birth rate falling, keep voting to keep it exactly like it is unsurvivable. And do me a favor, subscribe, because every few months somebody publishes a new study blaming everything except the actual cause. And we are going to keep opening every single one of these studies and getting it in front of you.